I think the standard movement for a designer on a career path is pretty much same as what everybody else does, right? But I think the creativity and the ability to use their learning, their inspiration, skills, tools, tactics, concepts, and experience building, that entire idea is a little special. Yeah, I think the larger idea is to nurture your fascinations, and it's an interesting concept, right? Like there are plenty of inspirations that are like dots that come at you over the early part of your career. All you're trying to do is to collect them and keep them. You don't know what is going to happen with it. It's like the number of movies that you see, the number of fonts and work that you see, art pieces, music that you listen to. All these are various kind of fascinations, and you learn how to store them, and you learn how to categorize them in your head, and actually they connect themselves into great mini worlds of sort that gives you the inspiration. So one of the stuff that I've been diligently doing from practicing creativity perspective is that I kind of hold that very dear to my heart and try to actually figure out frameworks by which I can make stories out of it or inspirational pieces out of it. That is me as a creative person. From a managerial and mentor perspective, I have actually found that you got to create leeways for other people to contribute to a singular problem. Just because I'm the design leader does not mean that it's my way or highway. And to actually accommodate that, you should not have a picture of the solution in your head already. That's the biggest problem that happens with mentors, right? They already think about a solution, and till they hear the solution coming from, they hear that solution coming from other people, they don't accept it easily. And I think those are the two principles that guided me quite a bit. One is to actually keep the inspirations nurtured and kept for long enough that is a creative font of sort that can be brought in. And the second one is to create leeways and corridors for ideas to come in towards a good solution. I think the standard movement for a designer on a career path is pretty much same as what everybody else does, right? But I think the creativity and the ability to use their learning, their inspiration, skills, tools, tactics, concepts, and experience building, that entire idea is a little special. Let us set that aside. But I think some of the biggest missing parts for a designer is an ability to move up, especially to the middle part of the career. So a designer typically starts as a great practitioner. You know your skills, your tools, you are able to work with stuff, and so on. And that's what you studied, that's what you will do. That works good. From there, you actually become a collaborator. You got to learn how to work with technology teams and business teams. Collaboration doesn't come easily, and it's something that has got to be developed. You've got to listen, respond. You've got to actually compromise. You've got to so that is collaboration, and that is something that needs to be learned. The next one is becoming a mentor. Typically, there will be a team that you will manage over a period of time, and then you should know how to groom them to become good designers so that you can delegate well and run them as an appropriate team, right? Like and then comes managers. You will manage the team in many ways. It's about managing their time, their growth, their career growth, and a lot of other things that you will manage for them. Like I said earlier, mentors are generally nice. The manager part of it, your subordinates won't like you. That's okay. That's the way it is. Then you actually become a strategist. The strategist is somebody, it's not a role, it's not a designation, but it's a role. You will actually think about strategies that are right for that specific solution or a product or the department or even the business for that matter. But as you grow from a strategist, you perform very well as a strategist, then you become a leader. Then you know the mentorship, then you know the managerial capabilities, then you can come up with strategies, then you become a leader. And then if you're good and you have the grit, you become an entrepreneur. That's the typical growth. Unfortunately, the skills right in the middle, from mentorship, management, strategy, and to leadership, is never taught. You gather it as you go. It'll be great if it is taught, and it'll be great if designers seek this to actually get these skills before they go out into the big bad world. So it is very easy to say that designers don't develop empathy, but I don't believe in that fully. I actually question the concept of empathy that people have. I think there is no situation that they can viscerally feel another human being's lived experience in any possible way. They are not put into situations where they are. Like, we always build a wall around our comfort zone and don't walk out of that. I think that is the biggest problem. Today's UX and UI world is kind of defined by a set of cubicles that kind of talk to one another in meeting rooms and develop products to a certain way. And most often, it is also so siloed. It has got these silos, like research is a silo. And that silo kind of delivers insights. And technically, for a designer who is actually working on constructing that solution, it's not a lived experience. That's a problem. You can never hand over somebody's lived experience as a written text to someone else. And I think that's why they keep saying that even though you have a qualitative and a quantitative and probably even deeper research, it's probably you need to go back and observe, immerse, and participate yourself to get and carry some amount of that lived experience so that you can respond well when you come to a solution. That is one. So that is the empathy part of it, which I do not like. So I'm calling it borrow the lived experience. It's a way better way to do the solution. That's one. The second thing that is kind of overlooked is technology knowledge. Technology knowledge, I'm not talking about people should be able to code. People need not know how to code. But actually, they should know the workings of technology. Like, for example, simple things like, what does a technology architecture of a specific solution mean? What does a multi-level architecture mean? What does a content management system really mean, or a e-commerce engine really mean? Those are things that people can understand very well, because most of these content management systems, most of these e-commerce engines, and most of these kind of systems that are there already work the same way. If you have the working knowledge, you can respond well with the solution as a UX person. And I think that should be nurtured right from when you learn user experience design. So you can actually use the practitioner to collaborator. I think the collaborator piece that's what it is, right? You should learn how to collaborate. That's broadly what the story, or learn how to become a mentor of sort. Like, what do I have that I can give to people below? And that's a little bit of a pain, right? Not everybody is happy sharing it, right? And that's got to be inculcated that in you, that sharing basically means that it's easy to delegate, rather than looking at sharing means that you are giving away a bunch of things, right? Yeah, philosophical, but the truth is that is the answer. There's a lot of debate about using emerging technology in design. There is a whole faction that believes emerging technology like AI or even immersive media, when you actually use in design, it dilutes conceptually what is being taught. But I like the other side of it. I think it is like not using calculator to do mathematics, right? Why are we doing that? Anyway, the future is using calculator. When you get out of this place, you will use calculator. So you'd rather learn that as a tool. Because I think the future is about ability to use things like artificial intelligence, generative AI, integrated with your workflows and projects and jobs intelligently. And there are smarter ways, and it need not really impact the output in any possible way. They are great starting points, but never great individual contributors, right? But it's good. If that is the case, you should use them as tools to, and I think that's a great place to start introducing usage of AI and usage of even immersive media, and in things like UX, usage of even non-screen interactions, which is like gestural, voice-based interaction. Like a lot of people don't know how to write a script for a bot. And I think that's a part of the user experience thing soon, that you've got to write the script for a bot if it is verbal and written and oral and spoken, right? And it's important to do that. I think those things will be exciting if it's included in the syllabus of stuff, because it doesn't matter what you learn in design, because it's an interaction point, it'll be good to do that. Like for example, small things like how do you actually characterize a bot? How do you give a nuance that makes the bot caring or makes the bot with a serious amount of attitude, right? And that's like that's a tonality and the voice of the bot. Designers should be owning it. Two things. One is I fall back to remote learning, right? The curriculum is strongly designed for remote learning, which actually means that professionals can teach at their spare time. That is what is assumed when the curriculum was constructed, which means their learning from their lived experiences and jobs can be used and utilized very well to teach people. That is already miles ahead of any other curriculum that is being built, because captive teachers do not offer that kind of a stuff ever. It's very difficult for them to do that because they don't bring in market experience, as much market experience as people who work and who have worked before. That's number one. That itself preps them very heavily, which includes the frameworks and the processes they carry also are brought into it. So actually, originally when it was decided, it's almost decided like a series of containers or sub-containers that can be filled by people who come in. And so it had an openness to accept professionals coming into the point of view and teaching them. And that's what is the primary good thing about this syllabus. The second one is, of course, most of the exercises and abstracts that are written for individual modules have been designed from the perspective of what really happens out in the market, even as containers. So, like for example, the entire concept of the glossary and elements of user experience design has been borrowed completely from the glossary that's available in the market today. So you will not mess up with that. So glossary means the glossary, the concepts that you learn, skills, tools, tactics are all for industry readiness and industry relevance, right? That's what makes it strong. That's what makes the course very strong.